I hope you're I hope you're
Yeah.
100% correct. Kind of the last thing on the Afghanistan, to get real back to the Afghanistan thing real quick. Well, two things. What were there any unique challenges to flying in Afghanistan compared to Iraq, where it's flat, it's mostly a desert? Afghanistan obviously has a lot of mountains,
Yeah.
or are you so high up in the air that it's completely irrelevant
Oh
to a
no, there
fighter
were
jet?
there were definitely challenges. Each area of operations presented its unique challenge. I think that Iraq probably had more urban areas than Afghanistan did, and I use that term urban kind of loosely, but big cities. Baghdad's a big city. Tikrit's a big city. Some of these places are big, whereas Afghanistan really you only had a couple, and most of it was rural and mud huts, and you might have a large gathering of people, but it really wasn't, you're not targeting through alleys of high-rise buildings or anything like that. The mountains created some challenge for sure. In fact, there was one sortie that we were flying, me and another guy, and it was one of those boring night sorties where not a lot's going on. Everybody's sleeping. It was cold. It was maybe like November, December time frame. So in October ish, the Taliban kind of went to bed for the winter, and they woke back up around March or April time frame. So there really wasn't a lot going on. And so we're bored out of our tree at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And we spent a good 3 or 4 hours trying to figure out what we would do if we had to punch out over the mountains up there that are snow covered in the wintertime. And the mountains are, have you ever been to the Grand Tetons, like up in that area, the Northern Rockies or anything? The
Uh,
mountains, go
I
ahead.
don't. Well, I've been through like Idaho, Wyoming, and
Yeah,
Montana, but
okay. The
I don't know.
Bitterroots.
Yeah, I don't know if
Yeah,
I've specifically been in that spot
the
though.
the Bitterroot Mountains are a good example. Like these mountains are there, it's jagged. It's very rugged up there. Big, deep canyons, big, deep rivers. It's really beautiful during the summertime, even I guess during the winter. But if you had to punch out on top of one of those or over one of those mountains that are reaching, close to 20,000 feet high, what are you going to do, man? Because, I mean, we were wearing flight suits with jackets and gloves, and that was about it. So you're probably going to freeze to death. So the best we could come up with was inflate your one man raft and enjoy the ride down because you're probably going to die either way. But
Well, when you talk about punching out, do you have like some kind of transponder on like on your person that they would be able to use to locate you, like a rescue team? How would they find you?
yeah, the seat does. The seat has a locator beacon on it, and then in our survival kits we have a radio.
And what do you must have a pistol, I assume, as well?
Yeah, yeah, we always flew with a pistol. We had Beretta 9 millimeters. That I mean doesn't do you a lot of good when you jump out on top of a mountain, but if you
Right.
jumped out on top of a bunch of bad guys, you could at least shoot 8 of them.
Uh, um, do you,
Shoot
when
at 8 of them, I should say.
shoot at eight of them? Is there like a protocol for if you got to eject? Is the idea if you can stay with the seat because that's where the beacon is, or is it once you're out of the plane, you
Now,
do whatever you think you got to do to get somewhere?
well, I mean the survival piece of it is going to be unique to that situation, and no two are going to be the same. So you have to take into account all of the factors. Where are you? Are you in a hostile place? Are you freezing cold? Do you want to get warm? Are you in a really hot place? Do you want to get cool and wet? Whatever it may be. So you have to take all that into account. So probably the one I don't know, the one constant in all of that is probably don't sit still. You gather up your stuff, get to a suitable rescue location because you have to think like when you're in an austere environment like that, somewhere that's untouched by roads and people, the only way you're getting out of there is either a rescue team that hikes up to you or a helicopter if they can get up that high. So you have to create an advantageous position. You have to participate in your own self rescue, I guess. Like Tony Robbins says. So you have to do things that are going to make it more advantageous to you and the team that are coming out there to get you home. Um, when you separate from the seat, there's a lot of nuance that goes into this based on altitude and when the seat's actually going to separate and go its separate way. And now you're just falling in your chute with your little survival kit dangling below you, but the beacon is in that. And so the beacon's going to be with you to a point, at least until you land, and maybe you ditch that kit in favor of something that's gonna help you enable rescue or whatever the case may be. There's the standard answer is it depends.
No, I'm fascinated by that. I mean, I can't
Yeah.
even imagine. I cannot imagine what would happen if I was ever in a situation like that whatsoever.